Hey everybody, welcome back to the COVID Cocktail Club. Happy Tuesday. I want to take a second to remind you guys to subscribe to this channel on YouTube so that you get access to each recipe every day first. You'll get it way earlier if you subscribe on YouTube. Also, that way you'll have access to all of the past videos, the entire library of the CCC. So, that said, today we are sort of excited to be making a off the beaten path kind of cocktail that I found in the Death & Co book. And the Death & Co is a bar in New York City. The bartender who created it says about a quarter of people who come into the bar ask for something spicy. And rather than just going for a spicy tequila drink, they wanted to mess with something different. And so that's how this drink came about.
Just so you can learn from my mistake, when I went to New York and tried to get a Death & Co. like the day of, not a good idea. How far in advance did you get a reservation?
A long time.
Yeah. So regardless, don't try the week of or like we did, like the night of, because that was not fun. But what's that?
Definitely need reservations there. It's on the Lower East Side. It's all dark and broody. It's really nice.
But little side fact here, if you're ever in Denver, I've not been to it, but if you're in Denver, they did open up an outpost in the Hotel Nomad, which I've seen pictures. It looks amazing.
Haven't
So
been.
I would imagine you probably get in there a little easier than the one in Lower East Side. So anyways.
I would imagine so. The actual recipe calls for your rye to be infused with red Thai chilies. And it suggests that you infuse it for about 15 minutes, I think. So that speaks to how hot the pepper probably is. Since we didn't really bother infusing, I mean, we just didn't. We're going to teach you guys how to make it spicy an easier way, I think. But you can infuse something that you find that you like and you want to go ahead and infuse it and keep a bottle of it, out. But we're just going to go ahead and muddle it. Also, my ship driver did not bring me a red Thai chili pepper. They brought me green Thai chilies. So that's what we're going to use today. If you've got hot or jalapenos, do whatever whatever you have.
One key point about peppers, and you guys probably know this already just from cooking, but the seasonality of the heat and the seasonality can really vary. So as we were saying earlier, if you're using a jalapeno in July and someone else is using a habanero in October, or even the same pepper in different seasons, it can really vary. So this is one of those things you kind of just have to play with it. You'll see later on when we make this, we've taken all the seeds out. We're going to start hopefully as light as possible and sort of, heat it up from there. So obviously adding more seeds will heat it up, but just keep that in mind regardless of what pepper, it's hard to predict exactly how spicy it's going to be. So it's kind of a trial and error kind of thing.
Definitely. But I usually find when we're making cocktails, I usually find that it's best to take out the seeds.
Yeah.
We went ahead and already deseeded our peppers. So
one other note I was reading. So Death & Co has all of their drinks, their cocktails broken down by sort of category, or most of them. So this actually falls under the Manhattan category. So, even Death & Co does riffs or variations. So even though this is relatively far from a regular Manhattan, certainly spicier, adds a mezcal, it still is sort of a cousin to it. So if you like Manhattans, I think you guys will enjoy this. If you like mezcal, but maybe don't like bourbon or rye drinks, this may be a good way to kind of get into it. So.
Yeah, it is sort of a spicy Manhattan, I think. But even if you don't think you like mezcal, I encourage you guys to try it because it uses 1 teaspoon. And it's just enough to sort of bridge the spicy and the rye, because it needs something to sort of bridge the gap between a hot pepper and a rye drink, I think.
Yeah, and this one's really mild. The one you have and the one I'm using today, these are very mild. It's a very mild mezcal, so you can certainly get smokier.
That's true. If you're looking for a good starter mezcal that's sort of on the milder side, then that's a good one.
Shall we?
Let's. We're going to use our mixing glass for this one.
Pepper?
I've already deseeded. I'm just going to stick it in there.
You're going to muddle first before you get anything, and just kind of loosen it up, open it up?
I think so. Let's muddle it gently.
Yes. And I will tell you guys, from just cutting it open earlier, the fumes from those seeds are pretty strong. So I would not do what Rysse is doing right there and stick your head in there. I got hit with it earlier.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how strong. You can tell how strong it's going to be.
1.5 ounces of rye, 1 teaspoon, which is unusual for a spirit ratio, but 1 teaspoon of mezcal.
I am just going to use a bar spoon. I did not pre-measure that.
We're going to be doing a sweet vermouth, and as you guys remember, well, there's different variations of these, but hopefully you guys are refrigerating it. Hopefully you're labeling them when they go in the fridge for about 30 days, 45 days, really max. So I'm using Koki. What do you have?
I've also got Koki. The benefit to using Koki is it comes in that Rysse size bottle.
I would disagree. That bottle's tall.
Ha 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 ha.
All right, so 3/4 ounce of whatever sweet vermouth you're using, short or tall bottle.
Ah.
And then the dry curacao, which we learned, Rysse taught me last week, has brandy and cognac in it, this particular one. If you don't have this really cool dry curacao bottle, this particular one, Cointreau, Paula's, Grand Marnier, you know, any basic house triple sec, if you have to, it will work fine. 1/2 ounce of dry curacao.
I think that just sweetens it up a little bit. And also I think that orange flavor plays really nicely with both the rye and the spicy.
Well, it's like one of the few things in here without any heat or smoke to it. So it's nice. It kind of softens it. And then 1 teaspoon of simple. As we've discussed in the past, agave nectar will work. Honey if you have it and nothing else. A sugar cube if you have to. And then a dash of Angostura. As you can see today, this is one of the first times in a while, Rysse, that I think we've actually followed the recipe to the T. We're not doing any particular riffs because this drink really is in itself a riff of a Manhattan. So we're kind of staying pure to it. Certainly if you want to have fun with it and you want to add in like a moly bitters, a chocolate bitters, orange bitters later on. But first round, I would actually just stick to the actual recipe.
Agreed.
Let's get ice.
Stir it to chill.
Usually about 20 seconds is enough, but it also depends on how diluted you want it. With the amount of smoke and spice in this, you're going to want to dilute it a bit. The thing you'll notice too is we have different kinds of ice. So Rysse do a little bit quicker. So if you have a smaller ice cube, you certainly want to stir less. If you have a larger, these are like I'd say medium to large. If you're using like a block, certainly you're going to have to stir longer. I'm going to double strain. You're doing the same?
Well, I'm thinking we should double strain this one just in case we ended up with a couple seeds.
Yeah, I guess it's a good call. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, by the way, after watching you beat me every time we do our double strainer, and mine takes like an hour, I went and got a new one.
That's an essential business.
Seriously, look how much faster that was.
It's hard to clean.
They really are. I mean, dishwasher, boiling water. But anyways, are you going to garnish? Because I'm going to keep mine simple today. What are you going to?
I think I am going to garnish. I have these cute little clippy guys.
Yeah, I struggled. I had a little spike through a pepper, but then I started thinking it's going to get in my eye or my nose. So I figured this is not one you want to have a garnish in your face. But yeah, that one stays on the outside.
On the outside.
Yeah, nice.
Cute.
So this is certainly one of the boozier cocktails. Again, smoky, spicy. We'll be curious to get your feedback on this, guys. I think I'm excited about it because we all love Manhattans, and I like the idea that it's sort of just a nice spin on one. But we love your feedback.
I also like that they have served it in a Nick and Nora glass because it's my favorite glass.
Mine too, always. Okay, tomorrow we have a special guest, Travis Linnig, the executive chef at Field and Tides here in Houston, in the Heights in Houston. One of our favorite restaurants will be with us tomorrow, and he's going to be presenting one of their cocktails. We're not going to give you all the details and the fun name and the history of it and all that, but we can tell you tomorrow have your gin, have your Saint Germain or elderflower, and have your arugula. And no, that's not a typo. Have your arugula ready tomorrow. We'll bring the kitchen to the bar. That's a recipe. That's an ingredient we have not used yet. So we're excited about that.
A new ingredient, but it's very healthy.
Yep.
And I think it's one of their signature cocktails there at Field and Tide. So I think it'll be a good one. I think you guys will like it.
Cheers, Rysse.
Cheers, Jason.